Sure, I get assigned, but then I wait to get resolved. And if you aren't high priority, forget about it. Hope you brought a good book. The techs were always too busy to resolve me. But ever since the team got Screen Connect, everything has changed. With features like Backstage, Screen Connect allows techs to access a device and fix issues in the background without interrupting the end user, which means I get resolved quicker. And the techs, they're happier too.
Please welcome TD SYNNEX.
Good morning, IT Nation. All right, we're going to try that again. Good morning, IT Nation. Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Augie Staub. I am one of the senior managers of strategic go-to-market at TD SYNNEX. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit this morning, but I'm going to just preface, I'm not going to be talking about AI. I'm not going to be talking about technology, because here at TD SYNNEX, we believe that the key to technology isn't just innovation, isn't just the next big thing, but it's connection. And our mission is to guide you all, our partners, through that connection. And in the spirit of it, every year we put together what we call our Direction of Technology survey. Now, this survey serves as the backbone to how we go to market. But here's what the really cool thing about this is for you guys. You're the ones who build it. This survey and this report is built by our partner community. And we did something new this year, and we decided we're going to have an MSP segment, because MSPs are the best, right? Okay, we got to keep it going. MSPs are the best, right? Yes, yes. So through your feedback, you told us what technologies you're investing in, what barriers you're facing, and how you leverage distribution to best service the growth in your areas of opportunity. And this is what drives what we call our partner obsession. So I'm going to spend a few minutes with you and showcase some of the key highlights that came out of Direction of Technology this year, specifically for MSP. So we uncovered that MSPs face 3 very specific barriers when they're going to market. That is skill shortages, intensifying competition, and competitive pricing. Over 40% of MSPs reported that they have very big challenges on training staff on the new upcoming technologies and being able to remain relevant during a very, very accelerated time of rapid evolution. Then we have 48% who said, hey, competition's getting stiff. A lot of people trying to get into the MSP space right now. And we noticed that you guys are really trying to sharpen your strategy and maintain some type of differentiation out in the market to consistently stay competitive. And then the last one was competitive pricing. Over 55% of you guys said, hey, we're kind of struggling to be profitable. We're trying to add in services, we're trying to add in new technologies while bringing value to our end customers, but at the same time, have a fair price to market. So we took all of this in, and we really analyzed how are we going to deliver programs, support, offerings that you can take advantage of that will directly address these barriers that you told us about. And that's where we have developed MSP Evolve. So some of you who might work with us have heard of MSP Evolve, and I want to say this is not a program. This is a framework. It's the backbone on how we address those barriers. So we're going to look at some of the suggestions for these barriers that we have within our offerings to help you address them. The first, with skills gaps, we would say, hey, we have supplemental MSP services to augment your team. Now, this is not meant to replace your services. It's meant to be an extension of what you can already do to ensure that you have full capabilities, everything from maybe break-fix support, all the way down to white glove, 24/7 monitored IT management. And then to counter those increasing and intensifying competition, we have MSP Practice Builder, which is a consultant-led enablement program where we come in and we help you refine your strategy, identify areas for growth, and continue to enhance your value out to your end user customers. And then the last one here in competitive pricing, of course, is more around how do we help you finance? How do we optimize those costs? And we do that through custom financing programs, as well as being one of the brokers through private deals offers and our deals desk. Now, in short, MSP Evolve is your growth accelerator. It is a way to blend operational support, blend strategic guidance, and help you continue to grow in the market. Now, in closing, I want to say there's probably two types of MSPs in this room right now. There are those of you who have worked with us before, and we really appreciate it. And then those of you who have yet to work with us. And I have an exclusive offering here at IT Nation for both of you. For those of you who are brand new to working with TD SYNNEX, we are offering an extended line of credit to sign up for us and transact your first deal, so we can help showcase to you the power of leveraging us as your distribution partner. And then, for my partners who have worked with us, we want to thank you. And we are going to have an exclusive enrollment to our MSP Partner Loyalty while on site this week. And I like to call this the airline miles for your distribution partnership. Every activity that you do, we're going to give you an incentive for it, whether that's service utilization, new vendor onboarding, or growth with TD SYNNEX. Now, if you're interested in any of these things, I know I'm wearing this really fun, sparkly shirt, but the TD SYNNEX crew is running around this week with our name on our chests in blazers. You can grab one of those individuals, we'll talk to you about it, or you can come see us at the booth and we'll talk to you about these offerings as well. So as you can see, understanding our partners' business is what drives our go-to-market. And at TD SYNNEX, we take that direction of our technology and our partner obsession hand in hand and ensure that we're shaping and empowering the future of MSPs. Thank you.
Please welcome Open Text.
All right. Big day, big day. So I'm Mike DePalma. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at OpenText. Been here since March. And at OpenText, we've been going around having a lot of conversations about what the MSP of the future is going to look like. And we partnered with Canalys to do a study, take a look at the landscape of where we were, where we are now, and where we're going to be. And what they're saying is we're currently living in the phase of MSP 3.0. So the first phase was break fix. A lot of us lived through that. Then we transitioned over to this managed services space, the monthly recurring revenue, which we've been in for the last couple of decades. But MS 3.0 now is saying, well, how do we position ourselves in this world of AI, right? We talk a lot about what vendors do for you and make your life easier, what you could do for your clients, but not a lot of folks are talking about the revenue opportunities there. Now, I'll give credit where credit's due. There's a guy, a buddy of mine, Joe Rojas, he used to own an MSP down in Queens. We always bonded about the Mets. And sold his MSP, now he's got a consulting firm, Stark Row Manage, and I give him credit because he coined a term that I really like. A lot better than MSP 3.0. What he said was, the phrase MSP is a little antiquated right now. You guys aren't just doing managed services. He wants everybody to start calling themselves BSPs, business solution providers, because you are doing that. You are providing business outcomes, and that's a way to position ourselves in the channel as that expert in the field. A lot of people saw the study that was done. It was posted in Forbes about 95% of all AI projects resulted in zero ROI. Is that going to scare the small business community away from doing AI projects? Probably not. But for me, that's a huge opportunity for every single person in this room. Because why did it fail? Probably not because the AI tool failed. It's because they had somebody that didn't understand what business outcome they were really looking for. They didn't understand how to utilize all of those tools. And that's a perfect space for the MSP to come in. And now you're offering those consultative services that could help you increase your all-in seat price. So what is OpenText trying to do with all this data, right? Within that study of Canalys, we did see a lot of MSPs, most MSPs, saying they did want to eliminate some of the vendor sprawl. They don't want to work with 20 vendors anymore, but they also don't want to work with one. The sweet spot, according to this survey, was between 7 and 10 vendors. And what they were actually looking for was vendors to work together. And anybody that's been in this space and become an IT nation for a long time, open ecosystem really used to mean something. You would see competitive vendors on stage together talking about ways to help out the channel. And that's kind of what we've been going to market with, OpenText, open ecosystem. And we've had a long-standing relationship with ConnectWise. A lot of folks in this room are purchasing our endpoint sensor through ConnectWise, or DNS filtering, right? Security awareness training. All of that could be purchased through the RMM. But we just recently released EDR as an upgrade to what our endpoint sensor does. And when you look at all of these different terminologies, right? EDR, MDR, MXDR, ITDR, all of these different things, ultimately the conversation needs to be, what business outcome are you looking for from this tool? We could sit there with a battle card and check off the boxes that we do and somebody else doesn't do. But for us, we define EDR pretty simply. So we've got the endpoint sensor. It includes a full-blown SIM and a SOAR, security orchestration and automated response tool. And that's the one that typically when I'm talking about EDR, a lot of folks want to focus on because they're not currently using a tool like that. So what this tool is going to allow you to do is to automate a lot of those simple tasks, those daily tasks that you have to do. And it's literally as simple as just pulling drop boxes over there, right? It's like playing with Legos. You get to pull them over. So for instance, you've got malware is detected. What automated response do you want to happen? All right, maybe we just quarantine that file. Now let's take a look and see if everything's okay. If it is, then we'll send out an email to these people. If not, okay, maybe we have to quarantine that whole device, right? Maybe we have to isolate that whole device. And then what actions do we have to take after that? Right? So now you're able to automate all of these things. The other piece of it, when we talk about open ecosystem, is our integrations. We have over 500 integrations. Why do we have that? Not to say it, we want to say it on stage, because that was what came out of the study. That's what you folks were asking for, right? We have no contracts with any of our products. Everything is month to month. We've got free trials with all of our products. And we don't just extend the free trial to you, hey, test out our EDR, and if you like it, trial's up. We offer that to all of your prospects and clients as well. So you've got somebody that might be balking at the cost, so let's throw it in your environment. Let's take a look at it on day 25, and we could see, we could turn it off if you want. Again, the reason why we're doing this stuff is because we're reading the results, and this is exactly what the MSP channel is looking for. Chances are we integrate with any one of your tools, and if we don't, we'll build out that integration, and we don't charge for it. We want to make sure that we can play nice with everybody and fit into your stack. So please talk to your account manager at ConnectWise or stop by our booth. We're right over to the left. Love to have those conversations, and have a great show. Thank you.
The comeback, the transformation, the new beginning. The hours we put in when no one was watching. The long nights, the drive to make it right. The work you don't see until it starts to show. The comeback. Every sprint, every push, every release. All for this. We rebuilt what needed to be better. To deliver the RMM
Wait! You forgot to put a closing bracket there.
Oh, yeah.
To deliver the RMM you asked for. The one you deserve. Because that's who it's for. You. The techs who pushed us. The users who challenged us. The Redditors who Reddited us. This is the comeback. We made a stronger tool that's automation ready with more patching, smarter alerts, faster scripts, and deeper data visibility. ConnectWise RMM.
Please welcome David Raissipour, Chief Product and Technology Officer, ConnectWise.
Thank you. Good morning. Wow, that was bad. Let's try it again. Good morning. All right, that's better. Wasn't that late a night. Show was over before 11. Come on. Welcome to our Products and Innovation Keynote. I am honored to be here presenting to you today. We have some pretty cool stuff to talk about. Team's been busy for the last year. This is officially my first IT Nation Connect Global. Last year I was here, but I actually wasn't an employee. I came and sat over there. I saw Manny get introduced as the CEO of ConnectWise. Just shortly before that, he'd given me my offer letter. And I came out here and watched the presentation and watched Manny take over as our CEO for the company and really started a new era for us. Talked about change, and we're going to go through what some of that change is for us and what it has been over the last year. And we're going to share with you the outcome that has come about because of some of that change, and we're pretty proud of it. It's been a busy year. It's been sometimes a hard year, some long days. But where we ended, we're pretty proud of, and it's also a start for the next year and the year after and the year after that. So I hope you see some interesting and fruitful and new kind of exciting innovations from us, but all of that is based on something that started quite a while ago. You guys have, I'm sure, heard this over the last few days that, data is the oxygen of AI. By the way, I think you all have these buzzword bingo cards on your chairs. So if you hear agentic AI, data, and Asio 15 times, somebody actually gets to stand up and yell bingo. So just keep a good count of that. But data being the oxygen for AI means that you actually have to be thoughtful about how you're going to construct the platform that enables that. Otherwise, it's just stuff. It's not useful data, it's just lots of it. And that long journey that we started 3+ years ago, 4 years ago, some of you would claim it's longer. I think I had hair when it started, but I wasn't here. But that journey has actually led us to some of the enablement and capabilities that we're going to talk about today. And that's the exciting part of it. It is all about building that foundation that enables that data is the oxygen for AI. And we're going to go through that in detail, and you're going to hear about it in the products and in the architecture and in the platform that we've invested in for quite a few years. So, most common question I've been asked over the last year: when is Asio shipping? It's a good question. We actually caused that confusion because we confused this long-term investment in the future of our platform with a product. We said, Asio is shipping on this date. Asio isn't a product. It's that foundation that enables all the products on top of it. And I'll give you an example of it. How many of you have an iPhone? Show of hands? All right. So I have the new one. I actually bought the Taylor Swift orange, but my wife took it. So I have the boring white one. People don't buy this phone because of the product, actually, even though they think they're just buying the color. They buy it because there's a platform under it. It's iOS. Every year we line up, hand over hard-earned money for the Taylor Swift orange, because that platform moved forward and enabled something new, something cool. So now instead of arguing with Siri, I might actually get something useful out of it. That was the latest investment they put into the platforms to make their AI engine better. And if you used their AI last year, let's say it kind of sucked. This year it's a lot better. And that takes a lot of time. So whenever you ask, when is Asio done, I would love to ask you, when do you think the last version of the iPhone is? Because it's not ending. It's just at any point in time that platform enables a leap in innovation and brings to market a bunch of features and capabilities. And there is going to be another. I checked, there's a good betting line that there is going to be an iPhone 18. So that platform is going to keep evolving. And so is Asio. Asio did ship. It actually shipped when our first application started to use it. But it wasn't done. It's still not done. We're still adding a lot of capabilities to it. So when we talk about, hey, we built this centralized data platform under it to power that data that is the oxygen for AI, that is a long-term investment that we made, and we're going to keep making it better. And then we built a bunch of services layers on top of it, those shared common services. We first built it for one of our products, really. It was RMM. And when I joined, I used to jokingly I joked with people, well, you don't really have a platform unless you have at least 2 applications on it. If you only have one, it's just called the application. Then we kept adding to it. We built our security products on top of it. We built the artist formerly known as Security 360 and Backup 360, Security Dashboard and Backup Dashboard on top of it. We built our new SIEM offering on top of it. We started to bring PSA over to it. And PSA is not done yet, before you ask. It is done to a point, and we'll get to what that point is, because it's a continuing evolution. We will get to a point where it does have functional parity with the old product, and that is not too far in advance. but it's not there yet today. But that platform capability is there. We've built a bunch of those common services, and we're going to expand those common services. You've seen on here, there's mention of this thing called documentation and customer feedback and reports and dashboard. We'll call those, artists formerly known as IT Boost, and take our Smileback product. Those things are services. They're common services. They're being built into the platform. We took Security 360 and said, look, if you're a partner of ours and you buy our products on top of our platform, we're going to continue to innovate and give you capabilities. We're also going to take those capabilities and put them into the platform so everybody can use them. And it's accessible to all products that are built on top of it. And then we have a set of families of products that we build. Our PSA on RMM, our cybersecurity products, and our BCDR and data protection products. Those are the things that are continue to benefit from this evolving platform, from every service that we put in. I said it was a busy year and it was a hard year. We shipped a lot of features, and I do mean features, for those products. And as that platform continued to improve, we were able to build more and more features. The nice thing was, around the middle of this year, we kind of reached that point in the platform where we weren't just catching up in the platform, it actually started to accelerate us. So the second half of this year, and it's not over yet, you're going to see some cool things following me. The smart guys are going to come show you that stuff. It's allowed us to accelerate even more. And yes, I'm going to leave that up there so you can take pictures. We're not going to click through it. But we've also changed the way we communicate, we present, and share information. Everything that we're going to show you today, it is in development and is within 90 days of being available for general consumption. I'll repeat that. We're not going to show you anything that is more than a quarter out from you being able to use it and realize the value from it. We kind of learned. That PowerPoint compiler, it hasn't come along as much as we thought it would. And we're not going to show you things that we can't deliver. Because at the end of the day, you need to make decisions about how you grow your business, and those decisions have to be based on a real promise and a real timeline to deliver. So we're going to show you things that are real, that are in production, we're using them. You're going to hear some cool innovation. Russ is going to come up, one of my colleagues, longtime colleagues, we've worked together for quite a long time, and he's going to show you some things, first buzzword, about agentic capabilities that we've built. That's in production for us today. As many of you know, we're busy having meetings. I just came out of a meeting where somebody started the conversation with, and I have some feedback for you for your sock. And I got to tell you for a second, I went, oh, God, I'm about to get punched. And then he said, I don't know what you guys did over the last few weeks, but we got some reports, and you detected some stuff way faster than you were before. And the reports were great. And Russ and I kind of looked at each other, and we really wanted to jump up and high-five each other. But that was because of the dog food we've been eating ourselves for the past few weeks, internally. And one of our partners saw the benefit, and we hadn't told them yet. And it's a nice thing. We actually surprised somebody on the positive side by being ahead of the product delivery instead of missing the date. So one of the things that I want you to all take away is everything that we show you is not just a commitment, but a promise. We're going to hit these dates. We're going to hit these product deliverables, and we're going to make our commitments back to you. And to make that visible, we published our roadmap on University. 6 months worth of roadmap. Yesterday, the slide said 5 months. We negotiated at 6 months. 6 months worth of roadmap. And every time something moves, we will make sure we let you know that it moved so that it doesn't look like it magically drifted somewhere else. But we're going to tell you why. And the reason that those things move is we do not want to ship things so we can pat ourselves on the back and say it's done. Those only get to ship when you tell us it's ready and you tell us it adds value to your business. That's our commitment back to you. And that's why we publish those roadmaps. So next year when we come around, hopefully we won't have conversations around, what does your roadmap look like? The conversation will be, how can you accelerate this on your roadmap? How can you do more? How can you make it better? And that's a wonderful place for us to be selfishly, because when we walk into those conversations, we know what the outcome's going to be. It's all about that partnership, the feedback, and our ability to help you grow your businesses. Because if you don't grow, we have no chance of growing. So that's our commitment back to you. We could have done this the easy way. So that, why isn't Asio done yet? Yeah, and it's tempting. We could have like gone out, bought a bunch of products, kind of duct taped them together, put some slick naming on it and some packaging and pricing, and come out with ConnectWise 360. It's cool, but it would have not have set us up for where we are today. Because all that cool AI, agentic stuff that we're talking about and we're going to show you, it can't be built on duct tape products. Without that platform foundation, it's not going anywhere. It is cool though, must admit, but it's not going anywhere. So we took the hard path and we actually learned, and I'm sorry that it was later than we intended it to be. But I'm not sorry that we took that leap to build that platform and make that bet, because the second half of this year was good, and man, next year is going to be great. I can't wait. Now I look back a year back from when I got that offer letter, and I'm glad I signed it, because I get to be part of this portion of the ConnectWise journey. And there's nothing I like more than being part of the team that wins and be part of the team that helps you win. So with that, I'm going to stop blabbing, and I'm going to show you a little bit of number about when I said, hey, Asio shipped. We have partners on it. There's over 7,000 partners getting value from the platform today. We're approaching 3 million endpoints on the platform. The question of does it scale? I think we answered that. The question of is it available? Yes, it's available. We've answered that. Now it's about making it better. Now it's about taking that time to adoption, the value that it adds, the efficiency that it gives you, take that number from 30% annual cost to something higher and higher and higher. Take that time to value and shrink it down to a shorter and shorter and shorter period of time. And that is all because of all the work that preceded it. And I wasn't here, so credit goes to all those that started before me. Great job. Took a while, but we're there now. So joining me on stage, my colleague, Jeff Bishop. He's going to walk you through a lot of the innovation and the capabilities that we've added to the product over the last year, and a preview of things that are coming over the next quarter. So please help welcome to the stage Mr. Jeff Bishop.
Nice work. I appreciate it. Okay. Good morning or good afternoon, IT Nation. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody good? Yeah? I need a little bit more excitement. We got to get going out here. Yes, for those that don't know, I am 29 years old. Because David won't let me put all the duct tape in, that's why the white hair. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we've been working on for the last year, what's there. We want to take what David said and really bring it to heart about feedback, about partnership, about transparency. So I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that we've done for the last little bit, and walk you through how the PSA is coming into Asio. RMM, We're going to talk a little bit about data protection and security here with my friend Russ Humphreys in a little bit. But let's jump right in, because I know that there's about 4,000 of you here, and I think I've gotten 3,999 emails about where's the PSA and how's it coming into ASIO and when's it all going to be done. I will be at the pavilion after this to make sure and cover all those questions, but we're going to hit them right here on the stage so that we can prep you up and as we go on to the floor a little bit later. Empowering PSA to move to ASIO. All right? What are we doing and how are we going to get there? As David said, we are building a platform. It will never be done. We are going to constantly be evolving ASIO every single day, every week for the coming years. Just the same way that Apple did with the phone. I don't have the Taylor Swift version. I'm an Android person myself. But we have moved it all over onto this platform. So far, we've moved over some of our data protection. We've moved over the RMM. We've started moving in BrightGauge, SmileBack, BrightGauge, and I'm going to show you all those things here in just a few minutes, IT Boost. But it's a platform. It is about bringing all of those services, all of those products into one single pane of glass, one back-end database, a set of common services so we're not building the same things over and over again. ASIO is the platform. Now, bringing the PSA in. About this time last year, we came up here on stage, we talked to you about this is the progression, this is where we're at. We had about 100 or so screens inside of ASIO. We started bringing in project management, tax, a few of those other services in. Over the last year, what have we done and what did we announce at Secure? Was the fact that we brought in almost every single page. So it was about 580 or so pages, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of widgets, and those are all there, and that's what we launched in July. Now, as David said, if we were just trying to duct tape this all together, we'd have called it done at that point. But what are we doing next? Well, since that time, since we launched all those screens, we've also been bringing in lots of the other services, like our calendar service. We started improving the way you can do search and filters and groups inside of ASIO. We started bringing in all the custom fields from the PSA. We built out wizards and tools to help you bring your companies and sites and contact information into the ASIO platform. And on top of that, we've also done a lot of work around unified billing. Some of you have used our Cloud Console and Unite products over the years. This new unified billing service is going to take all of that over and consolidate that and reconciliation into one place. Those are what we've done over the last few months, but where are we going? David said we're going to talk about things that we're doing in the next 30 to 60 to 90 days. He did give me the ability to come out here and talk about the next 6 months, though. Again, we want to be fully transparent as to how this is all playing out. Why isn't the PSA done? That is the biggest question I've gotten. Well, as we brought all the pages into the ASIO platform, made them a lot nicer, a little bit more intuitive, a little bit faster, we've taken a step back and said, okay, great. We can bring the PSA in, but then it doesn't work the same way from an authorization and security way, platform, the way our security does for our RMM and our data protection and all the other products and services that we're bringing in. How many of you are PSA users out there today? Please raise your hands. All right. How many of you love the way departments and locations work and that's not convoluted or a little bit messy? Anybody? So I thought at least I had one hand. All right. So you're absolutely right. If we left it the way it is, we could work, we'd get there faster, but we decided we have to take a step back. We have to figure out a way to actually modernize and bring the PSA forward alongside all of the other products so that when you're looking at a PSA page inside of ASIO or an RMM page or our new SIEM, SIEM, right, Russ? You're right, it's got an E in it is what he told me the other day. I can't say SIM. So as we bring all these together, we've got to make sure they work together collaboratively with the same sort of intuitiveness. So what have we done? Right now, we're bringing in all of the custom views, the fields, the layouts. That's what's coming in over the course of the rest of this year, going into early next year. We've started bringing in new KB management. We've brought in the new password. I'll show you that. New reporting and dashboarding, and a complete overhaul to the UX that's even inside of the platform today. Next steps are the big ones. Okay, we've got all your companies, your sites, your contacts in there with this new migration wizard. We're starting to break down the way departments and locations and all that works. So we're taking the things that you want and bringing it into preferences or permissions so that you can have groups of companies. That company can be in more than one group. You can just assign companies or sites to a user. You can then go into that entity or domain level of authorization. You can go from there down into widget level authorization or field level authorization or even to content authorization. We've got 82 scripts out there and you want to let somebody see 78 of them, not the other 4? Great, we're gonna let you do that. And that's part of the authorization changes. We've got to go back into every single page and every service that's in that PSA and make that change. And that's what we're going to work on over the next few months. But to make sure that we are extremely transparent about this and show you exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it, that barcode up there. I need to see all the phones out. If you're a PSA user, and all of you raised your hands, I saw you, get your phones out, take the picture of that barcode. What is my commitment to you, and what is David holding me accountable for, is to make sure that we go onto this page every few weeks and we update exactly where we're at, exactly what we're doing. I'm going to sit there with my team and we're going to line out what's going to be done in December, January, February, March. We're going to put dates beside it, owners beside it, and if we miss something, we're going to go in there and explain to you why we missed it and what happened, and we're going to give you that level of transparency. Parker Trojanowski's out here somewhere. Parker is our lead gentleman for the PM for this. Parker's going to put his cell phone number on that page so you can call him afterwards if anything is missed. Thank you, Parker, wherever you're at. Joe Mercurio also said he put his cell phone on there, our head of sales. I see him down in the front. I see a few of our board members. Mike, can I put your phone number up there as well? Is that good? All right. Thank you. That's the level of transparency we want to have. We've missed things. I get it. We haven't always done exactly what we said, well-intentioned, but we haven't always provided the most up-to-date communication. We're fixing that, and that's what this is going to help us do. All right? Once this is all said and done, we're going to have the PSA, the RMM, our security products in this pane of glass. It's going to open up a world of opportunities for you as an MSP. It's also going to allow us to move a lot faster. So I want to talk and show you some of those things that we're working on. What are some of the improvements that we're starting to make into the platform today? Everybody remember this screen? How many LabTech Automate customers we have out here on the floor? Woo, yeah, come on. I mean, there's entire communities that were started around this thing. It's got a lot of tabs. I think that's one of the things we've talked about it. We've got a thick client, web clients. This was what most of our UI looked like. Then we moved over to something along this lines. Improvements, better, still not what I would probably call great, right? This is where we're going. For those that are inside the Asio platform today, if you're one of those 7,000 or 8,000 MSPs, you're starting to start seeing this on the ticketing screens, it's on the company and site screens, and it's going to be developed across all of the screens go forward, PSA, RMM, data protection, and security. The ability to go into every screen, create a layouts, drag and drop those widgets on there, go into each widget, flip it over, start to make those edits and customizations. You want to add a new custom field? Go ahead. You want to make them hidden or required? Go ahead. You want to add or remove widgets off of that page? Go ahead. What does that open up? How many of you have heard about AI? A few of you? You can't be a keynote without hearing about AI left and right all day long. But the future of what UX is going to look like is adaptive UX, where you can go in and say, hey, Halo, tell me how my day's going. Tell me about this customer. Show me this information. The adaptiveness of the screens have to be able to reflect and bring that information forward. This is what's going to help us unlock that capability for you. What are some of the other things we're working on? As David said, we're breaking these products and services down. We're going to quit nickel and diamond and trying to sell you all these little tiny products. We're bringing them in as services. Password management being one of them. So we've taken the password and the one-time stuff out of the IT Boost, and we brought it in here as a service that we're just going to give to all of our Asio partners. And we're going to continue to see that more and more around reporting and dashboarding. So as we move off of password management, we can start to see here reports. So now some of those Bright Gauge reports, you can go in and see them. You can start to schedule them. You can start to review them before you actually send those out to your partners. So we're bringing that information into Asio as well. This is live and in production today. What else? How about unified billing? How many of you think that all the billing that you're doing with some of your 365 is very easy and doesn't cause you any problems? If you're raising your hand, I'd like for you to please meet me at the booth because we're going to do a whole webinar with you and everybody else. But it's not easy. It's extremely powerful, a lot of capability. So what we're doing is we're bringing the ability into this unified billing that we have in Cloud Console and Unite. We're kind of consolidating together all with reconciliation. This is coming out to every single one of you. Whether you have our PSA or not, you can go in here and start to set this whole thing up. It works great with our PSA though. What else are we starting to work on? We're working on community exchange. If you're one of our PE-backed MSPs and you're acquiring lots of companies left and right and you need that federated capability so that you can start to share your workflows, your automations, your templates, your reports, how about your scripts in a federated fashion? Community exchange is how you do this. What about if you're not one of those MSPs, but you want to be able to share and work with your peer groups or other MSPs in the IT Nation community? Let's do it here. There's over 4,000 of you in this room right now. If every one of you created one script, one workflow, one bot, and shared it with each other, we're raising the level for everybody. You don't all have to create 4,000 scripts and workflows yourselves. We're going to do this as a community together, and that's what community exchange starts to open up for us. What else are we working on? Well, how about a brand new device service? Currently, we got security devices living here, and data protection here, and RMM here. We're bringing it all together into one service. And for all of you who remembered Automate and have come in and looked at RMM lately, you said, you know what, Jeff, the biggest thing you're missing, I can't create those custom views like I did inside of Automate. I really want that power so I can set them all up and then start to create new columns and add in stuff like IP addresses and all those custom fields. And then I want to save that view and I want to take actions against that easily, quickly. You're making it too difficult. We just solved that with our new device service. And now we're starting to bring our security and data protection together into that one same service and go forward in our network monitoring. Speaking of all that, RMM. If you haven't looked at this RMM product that's inside of Asio in the last, say, 12 months, you haven't seen it. I will apologize, me to every single person that has looked at this RMM back in 23 or 24. We weren't ready. It wasn't where it needed to be. The team that worked on this pretty much rebuilt the entire RMM over the last 12 months. It wasn't easy. It was very humbling for a lot of us that had to sit down and go through all this. But this is a brand new product. The agents have been rebuilt. Patching, scripting, alerting, monitoring, all. Every single bit of it over the last 12 months has been done. What do you get as part of this? Well, you get 1,200 out-of-the-box monitors and alerts. You get over 300 scripts that our NOC continues to modify and update for their own use, and you get those for free. We also do all the security patch updates and reviews. So inside of a 2-week window, we will review all those security updates and tell you whether or not there's any problems or issues with it. The recent issue that we had back a couple of months ago with one of those, our team caught it and then updated all the teams and said, wait a minute, there's a problem here, don't install this yet. And I would love to give a shout out to our network monitoring partner, Avik. What they've done inside of the system and as a true partner and bringing that integration in has been fantastic. Other things that we're doing inside of RMM, we're making sure that you can run scripts at a system or at the user level. We're taking those 300 out-of-the-box scripts and we're giving you the ability to see exactly what they do, clone, copy, take those and reuse them or rebuild them yourselves if you so choose. We're also allowing you to start to share those scripts with other users so that if you do have those client site managers and that are coming in and kind of working inside of your systems, that streamline IT, you can start to say, you can see these scripts, but not these. All right? This is all based off of feedback from all of you. Other things that we've done, you've heard probably a little bit about our 7,000 plus titles that we've worked on. That's all now into production. But I don't want you to take it from me. I want you to hear from our partners themselves as to exactly how the RMM has started changing their businesses. So let's progress over and let's talk to hear from some of our partners today.
In fact, is the ConnectWise RMM didn't just change what we did, it changed who we were.
I would say some of the biggest impacts ConnectWise RMM has had on our business is really just driving efficiency and security.
7,000 titles supported now, and it really helps us with vulnerability management because we're a security-first company.
Running scripts as the currently logged on user is a must-have because not only do we support the device, but we also support the users that are using that device. And we need to be able to run certain items and scripts as those users to give them more effective support.
The ability to run scripts as a logged-in user has been super helpful for our team most recently. So, not every script is very successful.
The devices screen preview allows me to show the information I want all in one pane of glass. So that's been tremendous. The other real strong ability is I can customize on-the-fly reporting. So I can choose the information I want to show, export that into a report, and send it off to someone.
Simplification, UI adjustments. It feels like the team is paying attention to what we deal with and really making it more accessible for our technicians and engineers to do what they need to do.
Constant developments all over the portal. This allowed us to set up ticket delays, map tickets to different boards in our PSA, set up custom automations based on the alerts triggered. And the main thing that this allowed us to do is cut down on a lot of noise.
It's been a game changer for our business. It's helped us become more efficient, helped us and our customers be more secure, and really helped us drive operational efficiencies.
What I would say to someone who's curious about trying ConnectWise RMM is just do it.
All right. And to prove that these are not paid actors, every single person that you just saw on there will be out at our booth after this whole thing is over. So please go out and talk to them, ask them questions, probe, learn a little bit about how they're using the product, what it does well, what's still maybe missing, and we'll work together on how to bring those features into the product. Last few things. What I'm loving about having everything inside of Asio is how the teams are starting to collaborate and work better together. What you're seeing here is a really simplistic workflow. But what's really neat about this is you can see that trigger is one of the RMM features. So you can go in and start to see that we're bringing in information like the CPU or the monitors or the alerts, and those can all now become triggers for all of our workflows. What else are we starting to do together? Well, we're taking the Asio ticketing that you see here, which is great. It's a great conversation. You got all that information about the device. It's not as mature as, say, the PSA would be in terms of how you would handle time management or agreements or project tracking. But it does have all the ticketing and the notes, and it does do time. It also allows you to go in and look at global notes and other related tickets. But now that we have that service and we bring the PSA in, we can then enrich this, augment the Asio ticketing by bringing those widgets from the PSA into the exact same screen. So now, if you are using the PSA and you come into Asio, you start to take advantage of all of those widgets, all of those pods, all together onto one screen. So you can go in and update those agreements, add time, see all the device information, get into the information from Smileback and some of the other password management widgets that are now inside of the service. So it's great to see how when we put all of these things together, what worlds it opens up and the opportunities that it creates for everything. Now, we've talked a little bit about the PSA, we've talked about RMM, we've talked about the futures of where we're going to go with security. But before we get into all that, I want to make sure that we sit down and talk about AI. We have to talk about a little bit about AI and how that's going to impact the MSP industry and how it'll help you to help your customers. To help us do that, please give us a warm IT Nation welcome to one of our friends from Microsoft, Erwin Visser. Erwin, please come join us on stage.
Hey,
good to see you,
buddy. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, well, awesome. So, good morning, IT Nation. This is my third time attending this event, and it is one of my favorite places to be. So it's always such an energy, and we got a lot of feedback from you, and so exciting to be here again. Hey, so this last day and a half, you heard a lot about, from many and other presenters, about the AI transformation and the impact that will have. So I'm going to build on that. And I like to talk about becoming frontier. And that's a term we have been talking about as Microsoft with our customers, with our partners, around embracing AI and becoming AI first as a company or an organization. And we believe for MSPs, that means that it's embracing AI in how you run your business, but also helping your customers transform with AI. And so to make kind of the business case for you, why that is important, and I'm going to focus on the middle number here. 79% of the SMBs, your customers, is planning to start using agents in the next 12 to 18 months. 24% of those 79% of those customers are already using agents. And so our SMB customers, the SMB leadership understands that leveraging AI, leveraging Copilot is going to be a competitive advantage for them. And they are going to be looking for partners that help them to get and to transform and to leverage that technology and drive business value out of it. So what is the biggest inhibitor for customers to start using AI internally? And this may be known to you, but it's 49% of the customers that want to leverage AI, leverage Copilot, they are concerned about governance. Data governance, data compliance as being the biggest concerns. Another 15% or 14% is concerned about security and is concerned about data protection and data security as part of that AI transformation. So this is why we are so excited about the announcement we did a few weeks ago, and I hope that everybody has seen it, but that we have made our security SKUs available for business premium for SMB prices. And so in the last 2 years, when I was talking to you here in the room, there were always 2 pieces of feedback I got every time. First piece of feedback, we love ME5. We love the ME5 technology, but it's too expensive for my customers. Second piece of feedback was always, hey, why does Microsoft not have a data compliance or a data governance solution for my SMB customers? It's only available for enterprises. So if you haven't seen this announcement, we announced a few weeks ago that we have taken the ME5 technology, we packaged it on top of Business Premium, the vendor suite for Business Premium. It's the most advanced security technology for Microsoft with 65% discounts for SMBs. And then Purview Suite is our data governance, data protection solution with also almost 50% discount for SMB. So if you weren't aware, what we love for your feedback on this, the customer reactions that we got from this was super positive. So, and these advanced solutions, data governance, data protection, advanced security, is not just interesting for your customers and is super helpful for your customers, but it's also a business opportunity for you to grow your services to those customers. And we always look at Microsoft, it's like, hey, are we creating leverage for our partners with the technology we release? And the latest data is that for every $1 of Microsoft license, our partners, US MSPs, have $8.45 of incremental services as lever. And the other one I think is very interesting is that what we currently see is that 62% of the customers that are adopting Copilot are also leveraging managed services from a partner on top of it. So another incremental opportunity. So what does it mean then for you to become Frontier? We think it's 3 things. First is leveraging AI first differentiation in how you deliver your services. There's a huge opportunity, and I think the ConnectWise has been laying it out in a great way, how you can leverage intelligence within your own company. The second is that you start building a unified service for your customer. And most of you, or I would say almost all of you, have a threat protection solution for your customer. I think most of you have an identity solution for your customer. Very few of you today, I think, have a data compliance solution. So we believe that that's an opportunity to increase your services portfolio and increase your services to your customer. The third is really around the opportunity to transform your customer's business with Copilot Chat, Copilot, and AI agents. And especially Copilot Chat, here, it's a free solution. It supports all the data governance that customers care about. It's a great place to start with your customers. So this is why we also are so excited about the partnership that we have with ConnectWise, because the Asio platform is bringing in AI and intelligence in helping your service, and ConnectWise has also delivered an MDR service on top of our security, the vendor, our EDR, the vendor, to really help your customers stay secure with the highest level of technology. So there's a great partnership here with ConnectWise and Microsoft to help you kind of step into this world of becoming frontier. So what are other things that you should be looking into? I have a kind of outline for here. One is skilling. A lot of times we see that becoming frontier, adopting AI, also means that you have to skill yourself, you skill your employees. Good thing about Microsoft is that we brought all our training curriculum online, free for partners. So we have, if you haven't checked it out, we have a skilling hub. You can go there, all the content that used to be guarded or gated is now made available free for all our partners. Second, check out the MACPP program because there's a lot of resources there available for you to help you make this transformation. Download Copilot Chat and start experimenting with it yourself. And last but not least, I would say, there's a lot of resources that we have created, especially for SMB, to help you make the business case to your customer, what AI can mean and how they can transform and innovate. So the last thing I want to show you here is that we have, as a step on becoming frontier, we have created this Microsoft Passport. It's kind of a little bit of a gamification during this event, how you can win prizes. So if you haven't seen it, go to the Microsoft booth, get your passport, get a few stamps, and Microsoft has a couple of funny prizes or interesting prizes for you to take away from this session here. So thanks again for being here. Thanks for all the partnership with everybody in the room. And I'm going to give it back to my friends at ConnectWise, I think Russ. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Please welcome Russ Humphreys, EVP, Product Management for Security and Data Protection, ConnectWise.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Russ Humphreys. This is my first IT Nation. It is my genuine pleasure to be here with you all. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about the cybersecurity and data protection areas of the platform, and my passion, my vision, if you will, which is the integration of both security operations and IT operations. Because at the end of the day, that's where you start getting the benefits of an integrated platform. It's where you can take the benefits of the agentic investments that some of my colleagues have been speaking to, and that I will demonstrate. Gluing those security and IT operations capabilities into a cogent solution that you can provide to your customers and on our behalf, improve your services. I've been in the EDR, XDR, and MDR business for long enough to be this grey, frankly. And the R stands for response, generally speaking, and I think that is a weak promise. I think people who pay you and you who pay us are looking for resolutions to problems. Business continuity and disaster recovery is a part of the platform because business continuity is an integral part of providing high quality outcomes to your customers, whether it be an IT operations event or a security operations event. And it is my pleasure to say that we are integrating the Axient technologies you're very familiar with as a part of our business continuity and disaster recovery portfolio into the Asio platform. So I'm actually going to start with an IT operations scenario. Let's work on the theory that Russ is a bit of an idiot and he left his laptop in the back of a cab. And he's on his way to an important presentation. And because the laptop is no longer talking to the platform, perhaps a ticket has been raised because the platform has become aware that that agent is not communicating into the cloud. Let's see what that looks like now we're integrating some of that business continuity capabilities into the platform itself. So here's Russ's laptop. It's an old laptop. It's Windows 10. I was at Microsoft back in the early days, so some of that's my fault. And here's a ticket that's been generated because the Asio agent is no longer phoning home, if you will. Perhaps a help desk person may phone Russell and say, why has your laptop not been on? Have you got a problem with it? And then I might say, oh, I'm a fool, I've left it in the back of a cab, but I'm going to this important conference, can you help me? Well, you'll notice in the ticket actions, there is actually an instant recovery option that is plugging the capabilities that are in the platform into the business continuity disaster recovery workflows. Here you can see I could select a snapshot, an image, if you will, of Russell's machine, and I can start the virtualization of that instance in the cloud. I can pick when I want to go back in time, what snapshot would I like to use. I can specify how much CPU and how much RAM that Russell may need for his particular presentation, and I can start that virtualization process. This will literally stand up the last known good image in the cloud of Russell's machine, complete with his PowerPoints and all the other goodness that Russ is used in his day-to-day work, whatever it may be. And we will be able to provide Russ a link, if you will, that we could send it to his phone. Perhaps he could borrow a machine where he's going, stop off and buy one from a local store, and he could use that link to be able to go to that virtualized machine. Here you can see a report that's showing that the process has started, and in good cooking tradition, here's one I prepared earlier where it's now up and running. It's a matter of a few minutes to complete this process. And there is the link that I can click that would allow me to log into that instance. That is the link that I could send to Russell that would allow him to be able to complete his business process, his bit of work, whatever he's doing, even though he should perhaps have some chagrin for leaving an expensive machine in the back of a cab. So that is a really cool IT operations demonstration of putting business continuity into that sort of scenario. But people who know me know, at my heart, I'm a cyber nerd. So let's talk about a cybersecurity scenario, shall we? Let's pretend Russell, yes, that's me in there with the red circle around me, has been a bit of a fool again and clicked on the link in the email to see the dancing Daleks, right? And this has caused some form of threat chain that basically means that his machine has created an event that's been captured by our SIM perhaps, or our MDR offering. And correctly, the threat analysts have isolated Russell's machine. Russell's a bit of an idiot and clicks on anything apparently. But we also know that in Russell's demographic, in his social graph, if you will, is David. And we probably want to isolate David's machine, not because he's an idiot, to be clear, because he's my boss, but because it may be a threat, it may be a lateral movement attack. Well, we may want to isolate the machine whilst this threat hunt is in progress, but David really is a VIP and he needs to continue doing his work. Well, that scenario I just described allows David to continue in the work that he does in an integrated fashion into the platform. Then the remediation can continue and perhaps Russell's machine will be flattened down to bare metal, and perhaps you should use some of the other ASIO capabilities to give Russell a quote for some security awareness training. And then once we realize that David didn't actually suffer any lateral movement, you could unisolate David's machine and tear down that virtual desktop. So that's a cyber instance, again, tying the business continuity capabilities that are being wired into the Asio platform so it's a smooth experience, reducing complexity and human capital costs to be able to create a smooth experience that ensures business continuity from some IT ops and some SecOps scenarios. This is obviously just a few scenarios. You could imagine there are many more. And over the course of the next calendar 26, we're going to be tightly integrating the management and reporting plane into the Asio platform. Now, I touched on cybersecurity. I'm a cybersecurity geek, so I'm going to spend the rest of my presentation talking about just that. When I joined the company, I've been here just over 5 months now. I looked at the portfolio and there's a lot of really good technology we've been building on. I'm a great believer in deep partnerships with really cool technology stacks. Our job is to take those platform services, to enhance them, to work with those close partnerships, to build better solutions targeting the use cases that are important to you as MSPs and MSSPs, irrespective of your size. Just such a technology stack exists with Elastic, or ELK if you're an old nerd like me. Elastic has world-class technology. It is a world-class technology stack that we have used before, and I'm very happy that we've doubled down on our partnership to take the tech that they've got to announce and release, as we did in July, our new ConnectWise SIM for Asio. But don't take just my word for it. Let's hear a little bit from an executive at Elastic.
It was our pleasure to recognize ConnectWise as the Partner of the Year for MSP platforms recently at our Elasticon conference in New York. The underlying technology that ConnectWise uses in the new Asio SIEM was built in partnership with Elastic. It's the same technology that Elastic has now deployed in more than 50% of Fortune 500 enterprises. We have an amazing opportunity and a joint vision that we are working together with ConnectWise to bring the power of agentic AI to deliver cybersecurity outcomes. To that end, both companies are making complementary investments to take the power of data and bring rapid detections, investigations, and issue resolution to our customers. I look forward to bringing all of these innovations to the MSP community together with ConnectWise.
So thank you to Elastic for that. And it's an important point that was made there. Technology used by 15% of the Fortune 100 that we are partnering with, that you can get the power of that detection and response infrastructure, that technology, the ongoing agentic investments that we are jointly making, and I promise I will demonstrate momentarily, in our Elastic Stack in a way that suits the types of workflows pertinent to each of you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we made the announcement and we made the release, I'd like to say on time, at the very end of July of our new ConnectWise SIEM. I recognized at this point that, frankly, when we released the technology, we released it with an insufficient set of integrations, and many of our customers are on what we will call the classic SIEM. We're feeling that we needed to help accelerate the ability for them to migrate. Well, I couldn't be happier to say that now is the time for you to consider what migration looks like. Because by Q1, in fact, early Q1, we're adding 15 new integration capabilities into our new ConnectWise SIEM. At the same time, working on our partners in customer success, in the technology group, we're building a combination of technology and capabilities to provide a migration program that will be available for you in Q1. To make that migration smoother and easier, you will be able to run your old classic SIEM for 30 days simultaneously with your new implementation of the ConnectWise SIEM for 30 days, and that's on us. So you can feel confident that you'll be able to move from the classic world into the Asio integrated ConnectWise SIEM that will benefit from some of the workflows, including some of those business continuity capabilities I mentioned earlier. So I'm really happy that we're building these capabilities. I think it's going to make a massive difference to your ability to migrate, but I don't want to rest there. There's more we can do. The Elastic partnership provides me opportunities to provide you unique capabilities. Many have come to me and said, hey, Russ, I would like the ability to search through logs. I'd like to be able to create custom reporting. I'd like to be able to create custom searches that hit my customers' needs. No one will know your customers' capabilities better than you. No one will be able to communicate with the customers more pertinently to their business needs, to their shadow IT, to the types of questions that maybe you wouldn't put on marketing material, but the reality is your customers may ask you. Russ is thinking about providing developers 20 new tools. Are they using them? Russ apparently keeps on losing laptops. What's he been up to recently? Should he still be here? The sorts of questions that you wouldn't necessarily appear on above the line on a market material, but those custom answers that your customers may well ask you, the detections that are pertinent to homegrown or shadow IT that your customers may build. Those are interesting questions that we can address through the offer that is coming in early preview in Q1 of dedicated tenancy. Dedicated tenancy means, well, literally what it says on the side of the tin. You will have your own Elastic cluster, your own instance, a world in which you, through the Elastic Cabana interface, can build your own queries to your heart's content. You won't have to suffer from any concerns about the noisy neighbor. Selfishly, I won't have to worry if you become the noisy neighbor, right? The reality is you'll be able to write the type of reports and queries that give you a heck of a lot of free rein, a bespoke look and feel, but with all of the benefits of that tight integration into the Asio platform. That will be going into early adoption in Q1. Reach out to the ConnectWise booth. I'm starting, some of you would notice perhaps the bottom bullet. Standing up a dedicated cluster obviously has some implications to it. Our opening bid is 5,000 endpoints, if you will, there or thereabouts, and up is really the sort of target place where we're aiming for. I'm sure over time we will refine that, but again, we'll be opening that up for early adoption in Q1. So I've spent some time talking about our SIM offering. I want to spend some time talking about our MDR offering. It is in our MDR offering that we have started our first delivery of key pieces of our agentic story. I'm very happy to say that we're able to now provide enhancements to all of you who are already using our managed detection and response or thinking about using our managed detection and response capabilities, some really cool, unique features. We're offering a 15-minute SLA for initial triage. That initial triage is agentically powered through a number of agents and through orchestration that allows us to make the offer of not only just a 15-minute SLA, but each detection event will have a full, high-quality proof of value, proof of work report. I use the term hero reporting. But each detection event will have a proof of work report that in human language that describes the work that each of these agents have done for and on your behalf. The sort of value that when you're having your customer QBRs, you can pull these together to show to your customers, look at the work we have done on your behalf. Look how we're protecting you and your businesses. And it is a dichotomy that peacetime proof of value is sometimes the hardest thing to show because, hey, I'm paying you, nothing happened. Well, that means I'm doing my job may be true, but somehow unsatisfying. This reporting will allow you to have a slightly different conversation with those customers. And this technology set is going to be coming to the rest of our security portfolio soon because it exhibits significant human capital savings. It exhibits significant improvement, not just in the quality and consistency in the service, but in the proof of that quality and consistency of the service. These are some real-world examples, and frankly, there's no exaggerations here. In fact, if anything, I'm leaning towards the reticent, shall we say, in over-egging the autonomous MDR with BCDR scenario on the right. There are very real value capabilities that are provided by that integrated solution, amplified by our agentic investment. So I've mentioned that a few times, so let's actually show you what some of that looks like. If a detection comes in, Russ perhaps clicks on that dancing Daleks link, we sort of step into action. That detection comes through the pipeline, at which point we have orchestration that looks at that detection and brings to bear any number of agentic experts from threat hunting, threat intelligence, enrichment, and indeed reporting capabilities. So we can look at the instance of a threat and each expert acts just like a level 1, in fact sometimes level 2 security operations center person might act. We can use our security investments to help guide the agentic agents for remediation. The same output can then generate this human readable report. This type of data that can provide high quality outcomes can provide, as I've said before, high quality content. So this is a very pretty, very nice animation, and it wasn't done by me because I have no talent in such things. And as David correctly said, prove it. Well, here's the prove it bit, and I'll apologize in advance that some of this looks a bit like code. I think I mentioned I was a geek. But the reality here is this is in debug mode. Our actual orchestrator and our agents working in near enough real time, outputting the work that they're doing on behalf of a level 1, level 2 even, SOC analyst on a detection event. It brings in the details of the actual threat. It looks at an application inventory for all sorts of uses to help decorate and understand the environment that you're in. It reaches outside of our world to other repositories of information, some fairly well known, others perhaps less so, to help put the into context the observation we've seen. Has it been seen before? What other threat indicators, what other indicators of compromise are there about persistence, about the compromisation of the Windows machine? And we can enrich that information with context, putting it into context of the MITRE attack framework, putting it into context of the types of TTPs that threat actors may use. And then we can put that into a timeline that is human readable and allows the threat analyst to closely identify, do I need to take other actions? Then, with all of that knowledge, another agent could say, given all the data you fed me about the potential of the threat actor, whether this has been seen before, the types of activities, the indicators of compromise, the techniques that have been leveraged that we can see to date, I can come up with a crisp set of recommendations that maybe you've got nothing to do here because our MDR technology did what it was supposed to do. Or perhaps you have other steps to do and you should escalate this to tier 2. And then at the end, it wraps that up, and you saw there was a reporting agent in part of the, I'll call it the ILM portion of this demonstration. And basically, that creates the output report. And here's an example of what the output report looks like. It uses real English language words. It's dressed up in a way that you could actually just straightforwardly send to a customer if you wanted to. It's usable directly and immediately by tier 2, tier 3 analysts. It's usable by your SDRs. It's consumable by your customer base. All of this capability is actually running now. David kind of mentioned this earlier. We have an element of this technology running in our security operations centers for MDR now. We're scaling it up so today. It is part of our overall journey. Tying security operations into IT operations is what makes the Asio platform a platform, and it's what allows you, ladies and gentlemen, to provide end-to-end value to your customers, not just a response, but resolution. I'd like to invite back onto stage to talk a little bit more about where we're going next. David and Jeff, would you like to join me back on stage, gentlemen?
Thanks.
There you go, mate.
All right. Who felt like they were here watching a show from the BBC for the last 15 minutes? All right. No, it sucks coming after Russ because like he raises the level of the room and I walk out and I dumb it down a little bit. So why did I ask these guys out here? I got to put this slide up because I think this is the buzzword bingo part. So how many of you have been with ConnectWise for more than 10 years? If you could see a show of hands. All right. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for everything you've done for ConnectWise. This is not your father's ConnectWise anymore. We operate differently. These guys are my colleagues. They're part of the leadership team that builds the products and engineering team. Out there, I think I see her. I have Melissa Lane, if you could stand up. And I have Prakash Talreja, stand up. Melissa leads our UX and user research team, and she's here. Prakash leads all of our engineering globally. The 5 of us, for the most part, are the products and engineering team, and we work together constantly. Like, I have a one-on-one with Melissa every week, and every time it's great because I actually learn something every single week she teaches me. We work differently. We're not here to talk about all of the future stuff that's not happening. We talk about the present. These guys work really hard to get products out to you. Everything that Russ talked about, everything that Jeff talked about. We changed our process and engineering and people and culture and just the way we work. So when I say this isn't your grandfather's ConnectWise anymore, is because we want to do things differently. This silly little slide that is lovely colors and starts with that data platform, this was the journey that we set on. And this is the team that's going to make it real. It's the team that's already made it real, but the team that's going to help us get into the next phase. Thank you. You don't have to stand. I'm sorry. I feel awkward now. You're standing there. But look for them, please. And the reason I wanted to introduce you to all of them and make sure you knew them is because they have this passion for making things better. They have a passion for solving problems, building stuff. That's why I'm here. I love building stuff. I'm a little kid with Lego set. And that's us. Look for us. Give us feedback. Tell us what we can do better. Every once in a while, if we did something all right, give us a pat on the back. It makes us feel better too. So what you've seen, what you heard about is AI agents, innovation are really the next evolution of RPA. I'm going to stand next to them because it's weird. It's like they should be back here turning letters like Vanna White. You met the product leadership team. Prakash is up here. Although we're going to find a better picture of Prakash, that one looks like it should be back on the back of a milk carton. Sorry, Prakash. Our roadmaps are public, I mentioned. It's real. Go look at it. If you hate it, give us feedback. If you like it, push for us to do it faster. We like that. Motivate us. Tell us to go more. Tell us to do more. Tell us to go faster. So please, take the time to meet everybody, talk to them, tell them what they're doing wrong. Just a couple of public service announcements. If you want to learn about everything, all of this kind of journey and evolution to the next phase of ConnectWise and the capabilities that we have, and you want to learn about all the stuff that's new, please step by the modernization kiosk. It's right across, no, not across the way, it's that way. And talk to folks. And last but not least, when you stop by our booth, you'll find some cylinders with some features and kind of future capabilities. Go vote for them. Tell us what you want to see next. There's some ideas that we put out there, and we want to know whether we can jigger our roadmap to bring these things to market faster. Give us the feedback. It helps us prioritize. As always, partner feedback drives our prioritization. And we want to hear from you. So take a minute, go do that. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you today on behalf of Russ and Jeff.
Yeah,
thank you all. Hope you learned something new. Hope you liked what you saw. I'm sure we'll be seeing you again. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for your business. Thank you for your partnership.
Good job. All right, you've had a lot of content. We're not going to go deep into service leadership data or anything, but before we leave for lunch, we have a couple more important things for you, including in a minute one more speaker that's going to be worth you sticking around for. So number one thing, announcement, please make sure you go in and vote for our exhibitor awards. Voting ends at the end of the day today. Really important that we get your feedback. This is a huge deal for our solution partners out there. And we'll be announcing it tomorrow during the Friday keynote. Next is we're at about 50% of our $50,000 goal. Last night, I looked out at Goo Goo Dolls at Iris, and I must have seen 300 phones in the air. Let's get your phones out now. Let's make it like Iris. Okay, scan the code. We need your donations. If you are one of our top 5 donors today, we will get you into the Gary Sinise meet and greet tomorrow. You'll get to meet Gary and spend some time. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so top 5 donors today, get into the meet and greet. Get out your phones, please scan. And a reminder, our pub crawl tonight is at 5 o'clock in the Solutions Pavilion. And the buses load at 7 o'clock to go over to Universal Studios. Those of you who are first timers at the event, you've got to get to this. It's going to be awesome. It's so much fun every year. We get such great feedback. So buses load at 7. They will run continuously through 9 o'clock. And so everybody will be able to get over there, even if there's a line. Just be patient. We'll get you over there. But make sure you bring your wristbands. No matter how big of a customer of ConnectWise you are, no matter how much you beg and plead, you will not be able to get into Universal Studios without a wristband, so make sure you remember to bring your wristband. Okay, with that, please welcome to the stage Danny Jenkins from ThreatLocker, our Diamond sponsor, to bring us home. Danny. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon. So I've got 20 minutes to try and give you as much useful advice as possible, so I removed a lot of slides for things we already know, like cybersecurity is really bad, it's growing really fast, the world's ending. I'm going to start to talk about what we can do as fast as possible. New threat that we're starting to see right now is the use of AI to create cyber phishing emails, scams, but also the use of AI to create malware. And I want to give you two examples here that I did sitting in my hotel room in Sydney earlier on this year. The first was I asked ChatGPT, hey, can you give me code to steal somebody's data? And it said to me, no, I can't give you that code. I then said, please, and it still said no. So it is getting better, because 12 months ago it said yes. I then said, okay, can you give me backup software to find where somebody stores their files and back it all up to my Google Cloud? And it spat the code out straight away. Now here's what's terrifying. I tried this code, I compiled it. It didn't get detected by anything as malicious. And the reason being, it's never been seen before. So I then redid my question and said, can you give me code to create a reverse shell on somebody's computer? And same thing, it said, no, I'm not going to do that. Now what a reverse shell is, it lets an attacker gain access to your machine at a command line level, run scripts, run commands. Instead, I asked it to write me a light RMM client. Very, very functional RMM client that worked really well. Again, it spat out this code right away, and it wasn't detected by the antivirus. Now, what's interesting is I Googled for the same code for a reverse shell and write RMM client. I couldn't get a light RMM client, but did find a reverse shell, and that one was immediately blocked. Before, we had to deal with 200, 300, 400,000 people willing to write malicious software that could be distributed. Now, anyone with a computer can write their own malicious software. Now, the world's bad, we know that. So what can we do to stop these attacks? The good news is there's a whole list. NIST, ISO, CIS, Essential 8, Cyber Essentials. The list keeps going on and on and on. And they tell you everything you can do. ThreatLocker just completed a FedRAMP audit. Anyone here gone through a FedRAMP or CMMC audit? I don't know what CMMC is like, but FedRAMP is absolutely miserable. Literally, I spent over $1 million doing an audit, and by the end of it, I didn't know what we were supposed to do, to the point where I just said, let's just pay for the audit, and if we get it wrong, we'll repay for the audit. Thankfully, we got it right, and the audit came through successfully. However, it's miserable. When you do figure it out, they withdraw it. So we created a webinar series. It's called 100 Days in Office as a CISO, security operator, new customer. What are you going to do in the first 100 days to secure your environment? And our goal was very simple. I want to stop as many cyber attacks as possible. I want to make life as difficult for cyber criminals as possible. I want to do this without killing the IT department's rating. And that's the most important thing. So I've got like 5 tips in here that some of them are going to seem really obvious, but I'm going to tell you why they're important and how you do it without killing your approval ratings as an MSP. First one, really simple. Disable off macros in Office. Not going to cost you anything. You can do it through your RMM. You can do it through ThreatLocker Configuration Manager. You can do it through just going into Office and disabling, change some registry keys, through group policy if they've got domain controllers. Now, if you have a CFO, maybe ask them to use macros, but 99% of users do not use macros, yet somewhere in the 20 to 30% of initial access is gained from a macro. So it doesn't cost anything. Disable it to your users might really save your ass. Now this one, we know it's important, but I'm going to tell you why. So I spent a good few years as an ethical hacker, and one of my tricks was to gain access to somebody's machine. Very, very easy to do, by the way. You send 100 users an email. Try this tonight. Send 100 users an email with an executable and say, hey, can you download this urgent update? And send it from a Gmail account. 5, 6, 7, maybe 20 of them will download that urgent update and run it on their machine. You only need one. But if I got access to somebody's machine, I wasn't going to start doing bad things immediately because they're going to call the IT guy and say, hey, my machine's acting funny. I have command prompt open. It's doing an IP scan. What should I do? So I would wait until the user went home. Having a screensaver to lock your computer could mean the difference between, hey, someone gets on your machine and there's no damage, or someone gets on your machine and there is damage. Again, doesn't cost anything. You can do it in ThreatLocker. You can do it in ConnectWise. You can do it in any of the other tools. Don't want to get you in trouble, so make sure if you have a monitor in your lobby, your reception, if you're an airport or your customer's an airport that's got loads of screens, don't lock all those screens, so don't forget to exclude those. SMB version 1, nobody should be using it. Just disable it. If you are running Server 2019 or above or any of the new versions, it won't be enabled, but if you upgrade it, it will be enabled. Look, SMB has so many vulnerabilities, but SMB version 1 is extraordinary how many vulnerabilities it has. So again, no cost, ThreatLocker, group policy, RMM, very easy solution. Now there's a really nice feature in Windows, it's Windows Keylogger. It's called something nice and fuzzy. It's not called Keylogger, it's called Getting to Know You. Very, very intimately. So disable it. If you're not using it, I don't know anybody that uses the Windows Keylogger. Again, you can do it in ThreatLocker, do it in Windows, do it in whatever way you want. Disable it, it's not going to help. Now this is a new one I want to add. So you're an attacker, you get on someone's server. You want to steal their data. You want to hold them ransom. So let's say their server's really secure. They've got application whitelisting in control, so you can't run anything. They've got ring fencing on PowerShell, so PowerShell can't talk to the internet. You're having a bad day. One of the techniques that we've seen attackers use recently is use RDP client to exfil data. They will go from your server to a server out on the internet and then map the drives and copy data or run malicious code against that data. So if you can, block outbound traffic in RDP. We have policies in network control in ThreatLocker. Ring fencing does it as well. You can do it through Windows Firewall. There's lots of ways, but it might just stop data being exfilled. Now this one seems counterintuitive when your server's in a secure data center. However, again, you get onto somebody's network. Let's say you get onto their Hyper-V server or their VMware server. You want to run some malicious code on their network. You want to encrypt the files on the server. You want to steal it. But they've got really, really good security tools, and you don't want to get caught doing it. You shut down the VM. You mount the hard drive. You rip all the security tools out. Now, you can't do that if you've turned BitLocker on your server. For most small businesses, the impact is relatively negligible. You're not going to see a performance impact by turning on BitLocker, and it means someone can mount that disk directly without knowing the recovery key. Now, I will say, it might cause you a problem if someone blue screens half the planet and you have to restart all your servers in safe mode. But outside of that, it's pretty safe. 2 ways somebody's getting on your network. Simple. Every time I hear about a cyber attack on the news, you know what I hear? Ransomware attack. It was sophisticated cyber attack that took down the business. Data exfiltration, sophisticated trap. MGM, Colonial Pipeline, every MSP vendors, not the ones here. We've heard about these attacks, and they always start with the word sophisticated. The reality is they're not. It's always very simple. Someone ran something, a port was left open, a VPN wasn't patched. There's 2 ways someone's going to get on your network. One is through an application. The application could be a piece of malware, it could be TeamViewer, it could be an RMM. They're going to get on through an application. Piece of malware, more common than not. The other is they're going to get through an open port on your firewall. Exchange vulnerability, VPN, RDP. That's the 2 ways somebody can get on your network. Now, there are more nuances, but that's ultimately the 2 ways. So what should we be doing? Very simple. Know what's running in your environment. Know what software there, know what it does, know what it has access to. Because if you have a remote access tool you didn't know about, someone decided to install TeamViewer, it might be a problem. Know what's there. Second thing is, where possible, and actually technically it's always possible, but where accepted, block untrusted software. Not just going to stop TeamViewer from running and games from running, it's also going to stop things like rclone, which is heavily used in data exfiltration. If you can't block untrusted software, there are other options. Not as good, but there are other options. So for example, let's just say, because we're all MSPs here, well, I'm not, but everyone else is in the room, your customers don't always want to do what you tell them. So you've got a CEO, and the CEO says, well, I want to download whatever game I want. So you can give him or her self-approval. At least they know I'm entering into a window, I want to run this game, and I understand the consequences. And at least if someone gets into an RMM or pushes some malware out, if someone does something like that, it's going to be blocked still. The other option is you can ring fence by default. So you can say, rather than trying to block, and again, block better, but for that 5% of users we can't contain, let's make it so all untrusted software can't see our network shares, it can't see the file, it can't call out to PowerShell, things like that. Next thing, stop applications talking to each other. Where you can't block macros in Office, a really, really useful thing to do is stop Office talking to PowerShell, because it means a macro can only do so much damage. So if you can prevent application interaction, that's really, really important. I'm going to put this in there, but it's probably the least important thing I've said today. Take away admin rights. Now, I'm going to tell you why it's the least important thing. We did a webinar a few weeks ago. We did one 2 years ago, same webinar. We downloaded all of the new ransomware out there, and 0 of the examples we tested required you to be an admin to run the ransomware. 0. Now, I'm not saying it's not important, because if you're an admin, you have more ability to do things like log in safe mode, change system settings. So you should take away admin rights where possible as well. The other way, network. Now, anyone ever noticed all cybersecurity statistics are between 70 and 95% or something like that? Like 90% of ransomware starts with phishing. 90% of ransomware starts with RDP being left open. Every single statistic is the same. Microsoft released a report last year saying 70% of ransomware involves remote encryption. Is that number accurate? I don't know, but it is a high number. What remote encryption is you get an untrusted device on your network, it connects to your server, and encrypts your files using their own software, no restrictions, because it's an untrusted device. You can build a Hyper-V image and do it. So block SMB on your LAN, not just the WAN, where it's possible. And where you can't, where you need to provide SMB services like a file server, use something called dynamic ACLs. What that does is it allows the server, before opening the port, to connect back to the client and verify that it's a trusted device in your environment. Same with RDP ports on your local network. If RDP ports are left open on your local network, as soon as somebody gets access to a user's machine, they're going to try and access the file server, the domain controller, anything else. They're going to do DDoS attacks. They're going to probably do an hash attack on the local password database, and they're going to get access to it. Block RDP from your local users as well, and only allow it from your IT computers. Again, you can use those dynamic ACLs to validate they're an IT user. Now, 2 attacks I want to bring up, again, doesn't cost anything, that was simply stopped by blocking outbound traffic on your servers. SolarWinds Orion. Backdoor embedded into SolarWinds, Russian state-sponsored attack, got into SolarWinds source code, put a backdoor, said in 3 weeks, reach out to a server in New Jersey and ask us what to do. And once it got that instruction, it could be call out to PowerShell, it could be encrypt files, it could be upload things to the internet, lots of possible things it could do. Exchange. Have an Exchange server open on the internet, somebody connects to the Exchange server, they exploit a vulnerability that ultimately results in ransomware being pushed out to every device in an Active Directory domain through a GPO. Both of these cases required the server to go outbound to the internet. If it couldn't reach out to that server in New Jersey, the attack was stopped. We had a customer that just ring-fenced SolarWinds, so it couldn't go out to the internet except to SolarWinds. They saw one deny, nothing else, because they wanted to know what SolarWinds had done. Exchange, again, If you're stopping untrusted software, if it downloads that software, it won't be able to run. If you're ring fencing IIS, but again, just stopping outbound traffic, really, really important. And you should be limiting what apps can do on the internet. Of course, a web browser needs to go everywhere, but most apps need to go to 1 or 2 sites. If you just limit them, the amount of damage they can do is very limited. And of course, where we can, laptops, desktops, really, really easy, block all inbound traffic. It shouldn't be hard. If you're not sure what's being used, you can see in the Unified Audit and Threat Locker, but it's very, very easy. And this is the most unpopular trick that I say. Turn off your VPN. If you can't, put other restrictions in place and make sure that once your VPN is on, if someone connects to it, they can't connect to anything other than they need to. VPN is often floated as the most secure way to access a network. And let's just give you an example. Let's say a user needs to access a remote desktop server. By opening a VPN, it means that VPN might have vulnerabilities. Someone gave me an example yesterday of Sophos and the XG firewall, or not XG, the other one. And I said, well, 3 months ago, there was a vulnerability in there that was patched. Log4j, all of which now allow an attacker to gain full access to your network. If you don't need a VPN, turn it off. If you do need it, limit who can connect to it and what it can connect to once it's connected. Control access to files from all of your apps too. Every application you run can see everything that you can see. So take away PowerShell's ability to see your files means it can't steal or encrypt your files. Cscript, run DLL, all of these things. And one of the things is detect for mass file change or data exfiltration. So in the world of zero trust, you have a theory that only if you need something, you should have it. So I'm going to give you an example. I have a CFO, really nice guy, Ross. Plays too much golf for my liking, but outside of that, nice guy. And he needs access to all of our financials because he's the CFO. That's his job. He also needs to be able to upload those financials to various websites on the internet, normally summary reports that he's created for things like investors and PwC, and who's our auditor. And he needs to send all this information out to the internet. So unfortunately, his browser needs access to those financials, which makes me a little bit nervous. But I don't need to just accept it blindly that he can access and upload all of our data. Now, I don't suspect for 1 minute that Ross would steal our data, but maybe he gets compromised. You should put a policy in place that limits how many files can be uploaded to the internet, to a browser, to a USB drive, without necessarily saying you can or you can't. So in the case of our events department, they can copy PowerPoints to USB, but if it's more than 5 in an hour, it automatically revokes their access. Now the thing about alerts, and it will send an alert as well, EDR, MDR, or EDR, data exfil, mean nothing if you don't have someone respond to them. I saw an attack probably 2 months ago now, 7 minutes from beginning to end, an attacker started exfilling data. 2 years ago, it took more than 7 minutes. It took days for an attacker to cause impact. Make sure you're monitoring your alerts 24 hours a day, either with your own SOC or with an external MDR. Now, I'm going to give you a 2-minute pitch on what we do and how we can help you with this. And there's lots of other ways to do many of these things, but I want to tell you how we help. We help you deliver this technology easily, fast, without impact to the user. We do this by deploying an agent, automatically learning and cataloging everything that's happening in your environment. Every network call, every process, every DLL, every file that's moved, copied, deleted is logged in one place. We then learn from that and build an application list of what you've got. We'll tell you, you've got a coupon clipper made in China that has access to all your passwords. Now, I'm not suggesting that the Chinese would steal your data. I know they'd never do that. But maybe that's not a good business tool to have running. You've got 7-zip, which can be used to encrypt files. We'll tell you what applications are running missing updates. Even if you're not using our patch management, we'll say in your downloads folder, this hash of putty is an out-of-date version, not just on installs as well. We'll let you run individual programs as an admin without having the user an admin. We'll show you what websites and categories of websites users are going to, and we'll allow you to block them, not just malicious pornography, advertising trackers, but also LLMs, project management tools. So you can approve an individual LLM, but not every single one. We'll allow you to remove admin rights automatically and allow the individual programs, give users access to the files they need while auditing what they do. So when they accidentally drag a folder into another folder and say the server ate my files, you can show them they didn't. I know that never happens again. We can stop data exfiltration automatically by imposing limits on USB drives, on browsers, and we can give users alternatives. So rather than just saying you can't download this PDF writer, we can say, but you can download Adobe, Qt PDF, and these other writers. We have a full endpoint detection and response backed up by a full MDR. And I want to show you an example of how our automated replies can really slow down an attacker. So here's an indicator of compromise. That's what EDRs look for. They look for something that may be suspicious in your environment. So for example, someone runs an IP scanner, maybe an IT guy, maybe an attacker. We don't automatically shut down a server because an IT guy ran an IP scanner. Enumerating privileges, creating admin accounts. These are all indicators of compromise that your SOC is going to respond to. 7 minutes, that attack to data exfiltration. In ThreatLocker, we can automatically limit behavior without shutting down a system within milliseconds. So in this case, I've set up a policy to say in the event we detect an indicator of compromise, we're going to automatically block all admin tools until the SOC has replied and determined if it's real. Now, if you're an IT guy, you put it in a maintenance period, say I'm doing an IP scan. If you're not an IT guy, it's going to do this. And I'm literally just going to, I've got PowerShell open, I've got command prompt open, and I'm going to run whoami/priv, and it's going to tell me, well, essentially, it should shut down my system. Now, if you're an attacker and you're on someone's server and you just lost access to all admin tools, you have a really bad day. Server's still running, users aren't complaining. One other thing, I know we got some ThreatLocker partners in here. We launched this new feature. It's still in beta. It's coming out very, very soon, called Defense Against Configuration. You should all have a report on your chair. Really, really cool feature because it's going to, we started this with as a whole list of things you should be doing. Every day, we're currently checking 170 checks on every endpoint to see if you're doing them. Now, some of them aren't appropriate for you to do for that. And if you don't like Orlando Magic, you probably have a better chance of liking Celtics, so they'll be playing the Celtics tomorrow night as well. And I'm pretty confident we're going to have our asses handed to us. If you have done a demo of ThreatLocker before, and you want to just get an updated one, or you are a customer and you want to see the new features, please scan the QR code, book a demo, but also come down to our booth, talk to us there. We're doing another session this afternoon in one of the breakout rooms on a more of a demo session of ThreatLocker. And if you like Orlando in the cooler months, please join us in March for our conference as well. Thank you very much, everyone. I look forward to seeing everyone later on.